I have only a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Didn't seek it, I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I'll suffer if I lose it, have to give account if I abuse it. It's just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Ferguson, Missouri, August 2014. Small, quaint little bedroom, North County community becomes national headline. A place where diverse, different, distinct, divided people meet at an intersection and share a reality. For full disclosure, I'm a minister, a servant, and I'm invited to share in a community by default of the fact that my professional building and place of work and my parsonage bookend the Ferguson police station. That default became an invitation. And as a minister, I'm invited into the opportunity to facilitate the learning of applying our faith in response to and in management of crisis. At the intersection of Wesley and South Florissant, but truthfully, at the intersection of hurt and hope, there is help in my community. I'm reminded of a story. It's a story about a paralytic, unable to assist himself. There are these reliable others who present themselves willing and wanting to serve. They decide, they coordinate, they cooperate, and they begin to transport this hurt one to a place of hope. Now, these empathetic models of transformation, these EMTs of antiquity, well, they take their friend, their neighbor, this hurt one, to the urgent care of their day, only to be met with challenge, only to be met by the crowd, the masses of people who also, so many of them diverse as they may be, are seeking help. Challenged, yes. Defeated, no. They devise, they strategize, they improvise, and they find an alternative. They scale the makeshift hospital, and they get to the top, and they tear the roof off the sucker. And they present the hurt one before the offering of hope. That great story records that when the source of hope saw their faith, the hurt one was healed. In a strange way, that's the innovation. Yeah, there's great ideas, and there are programs and initiatives, and there's even the establishment of institutions and systems that we need to develop or that are in place that can make change possible. But in my little simple preacher mind, I believe the greatest inventions and the greatest innovation is born out of the spirit that lies within. And maybe, just maybe, all of the distress signals, all of the scream, all of the protest, all of the expression is literally and figuratively the dialing of 911 and the call for some EMTs, some empathetic models of transformation. Empathetic models of transformation are those very basic practices and exercises and expression that speak and meet our humanity. I had a chance to have a moment to perform my calling of being, one, conscious of the fact that there is a other and an otherness in this world. There is difference. There is distinction. There are things that much of which society has established and created in its own way. Inequalities, the injustice, the intolerance that we face and that we perpetuate is not only historical and by its design, it's not only systematized, but then it is realized in the cultural practice and behavior of us. We are the reason there's hate. We are the reason why there is lack, or there is a greater than versus less than. And we have to be honest and open and alert to the fact that our consciousness must be stirred to recognize that there are others and an otherness, and yet while they're there, they're important. It's recognizing, it's a consciousness, but it's also a consideration. We are called to affirm the other, to identify the sacredness of person, to see the mirroring of self in the situations and circumstances. We are called in our consideration, in our affirmation of each other, to recognize not a codependence, but an interdependence, an interconnectivity, that as I am is because we are. We're called to be committed. Now, I know, some subliminal messages going on there. There's an elephant in the room. There's a larger theme underneath the canopy that makes up this small theme. And I'm not here today to challenge you on your faith stance. I have a faith tradition out of the narrative that I shared with you that promotes the well-being of all, that promotes the concern for all. I understand that, and I'm not here to tell you today what to do. I'm not even here to tell you how to think. Matter of fact, I don't want to tell you how to think. I just want to admonish you to think, to reflect on our relatedness and the relevance of another's pain, trauma, challenge, and situation with respect to our own. I don't want to tell you exactly what to do. There's already been great ideas that you know and that you've been experimenting with and deciding on and exploring yourself. And yet I do want to come and challenge you in the spirit of that great big company with large marketing dollars to just do something. Empathetic models of transformation. See and hear and reflect in new and exciting ways. They are concerned about self and considerate of other and recognize the interdependent and interconnectivity, but most of all, they're committed to acts. Acts that are loving, acts that are just, acts that are kind. In seeing yourself in others, you see the possibility, you see the necessity, you see the hope that comes from being hopeful. When you care, you're present and willing to be accounted for. When you care, you're in shared experience and you find connection too. When you care enough to not only stand with, but pull out of harm's way for one another in irrespective to what the consequence might be for self. People ask me all the time, what was going on with you and that young man? What's been going on? Why do you run to the tear gas? Why do you run into the fire? Well, anybody who knows anything about EMTs, the radical is not rational. The necessary cannot be needed and overly analyzed. There's something sometimes and somewhere inside of you that will anchor you inwardly, but will compel you to outwardly go, touch, and be. If a brother, a community, is lying hurt, would you not want to help? Today, I invite you from your corner office, in your corner of the world, or at the intersection of your own corner of life, to pick up the mat, hold up your corner.